You all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Antoinette, can we have a roll call vote? Roll call.
Mr. Burns?
Here.
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. Don, you have the public hearing notice?
I do. This is a legal notice dated as of October 12, 2017, notice of budget hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, Putnam County, New York, will conduct a public hearing on the preliminary budget for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2018, on Wednesday, October 25, 2017, at 7 p.m., or as soon thereafter as can be heard, and at that time, any person may be heard in favor or against any item. Pursuant to Section 108 of the Town Law, proposed salaries of certain town officers are hereby specified as follows, and certain of these include stipends. Supervisor, Budget Officer, $91,442. Town Clerk, Registrar, $77,168. Town Board, 3 is $19,721 each. Deputy Supervisor, $22,126. Justices, 2, $36,400 each. Highway Superintendent and Refuse Administrator, $109,161. Receiver of Taxes, $57,421. A copy of the preliminary budget will be on file in the office of the Town Clerk on October 20, 2017, and available for inspection by any interested person during normal business hours. By order of the Town Board, Antoinette Kopek, Town Clerk, dated October 12, 2017.
Okay, before we get going, I'd like to make a couple of quick points on the budget. First, the budget is still undergoing review by the Town Board. We had a very good meeting last night with the Patterson Fire Department on their budget. I don't think we've finalized the numbers there yet. We are still, adamant, I think, as a board that we are going to stay under the tax cap one way or the other.
Absolutely.
The other thing I want to say is the current budget shows a 2.97% increase for the Putnam Lake Fire Department. I got in trouble with doing this last year, so I want to be right up front with everybody. The Putnam Lake Fire Department submitted a budget this year that was, I think, slightly less than 1%. The reason that this budget shows something higher than what they requested is because I have made a request of the Putnam Lake Fire Department to undertake certain improvements on behalf of the town, which they have done. And we need to compensate them for that. So that is the increase in that line on the budget. In addition, at this point, town government is ever changing. We have come up with a couple of issues that our town controller, Patricia Brooks, has identified changes. One has to do with the lighting district, where we cannot use quite as much of the fund balance. Do you want to jump in here at this point? And the other has to do with Patterson refuse.
So the lighting district, currently we're doing some improvements for the electrical, to fix the electrical problem.
It'll be before the board later on in the agenda to approve again the electrician, I believe, doing the work.
For another.
But essentially what it is we have a street light out on Jill Court that we maintain as part of the lighting district. And it stopped working. So we started investigating why. Found out that the contractor who had done the original Dorset Hollow subdivision, Van Cleef subdivision, installed the wrong wire, and it had started to deteriorate. So NYSEG turned it off and told us that we had to replace all the wire. So currently, we are out there. The highway department has been phenomenal, as always, Russ Goff, and they've done all the trench work out there. We've laid new conduit, and we're about to put the new line in so we can re-energize that light. It's been out for almost a year now.
And since that cost is not in the 2017 budget, we have to use the fund balance. And if we use the fund balance for 2017, we won't have it for 2018's budget. So the proposed change is to, instead of using fund balance, to increase the property taxes by $1,175. That's really the only option for that district because there's no other lines to take it from. And then the Patterson Refuse Fund, I had originally thought the $2,500 was coming, reducing the amount of fund balance used, but I was looking at the revenue line. So I talked to the supervisor and we discussed increasing the hospital medical insurance by $2,500. And this will make the fund balance usage zero for the year of 2018. It won't have any effect on the tax cap.
Questions?
Yeah, can you restate the increase of $2,500? Just explain that a little bit more. I'm sorry, I'm not following that.
So in the preliminary budget, we had to do the changes to the salaries due to there's an increase in the CSEA contract. There's an increase in July 1st for another 1%. So I did those adjustments and I was able to adjust some of it for the employee benefits. So the salaries went up $3,000. The employee benefits actually went down $5,500. So I adjusted retirement and a couple others. So the net was a $2,500 decrease in expenses. So I just thought the fund balance we would use less fund balance, but we weren't using any fund balance. So in order to make that budget whole, make it zero, because you can't have a negative, we discussed increasing the hospital medical insurance. The other option would be to decrease the taxes, $2,500.
You're increasing the insurance, the $2,500 to whom? To the employee? That's only where I'm confused.
The budget for...
We're putting it back into the budget as a potential expenditure.
Okay.
You know, we won't know what the expenditure is till we get the insurance.
But that's $2,500 townwide.
No, district.
district.
Yeah, well, that's my
Refuse
point, not a person or anything like that. We're not talking about an individual.
Well, we have a
We're talking
couple
about medical
that
insurance.
are up in the air in retirees, so it might go towards that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay? Come on up, but I would ask anybody who wishes to comment on the preliminary budget, if you could approach the mic and give your name for the record.
Matt Spinder, 101 West Street. Specifically for the repair that you mentioned on West Street for the light,
Yes.
street light. Are they replacing the wires to all of the lights
No.
up there? Because I've personally called twice to NYSEG because there were issues with my dog and a neighbor's dog that got zapped from stray voltage.
Yes.
NYSEG
We
came out.
repaired that.
They said, well, I thought they repaired it the first time. It happened a second time. We called. I know they were out there again just a few weeks ago, and they did say that the town was aware of the problem. But my assumption is if that wire on Jill Court was bad and needed to be replaced, obviously the one at the corner of West and 311 was bad, and I don't know that that wire was replaced. I just know that they made some repairs. All of the wires, I assume, were installed improperly and probably need to be replaced to avoid a future problem.
And over time, we're going to have to do that, I'm sure, but we need to do a little bit more planning. It's not a cheap thing to, you know, dig everybody's driveway up and dig all the wire up, because it was not laid in conduit like it should have been. Your case, what happened was we found there was a short in the wire and we fixed the short. And so NYSEG is certified that the repair has been done appropriately, and they re-energized the light for us.
Now, that was the first repair or the second repair?
Second repair,
Okay.
not the first repair, but the second repair. You know, with Jill Court, when they went out and they took a look at the line, they insisted that we replace the whole line at that point.
Okay. All right. I mean, I guess, you know, going forward, if we can just have somebody check them.
Yes, we are going
at
to
some
monitor
point
the
because,
situation.
like I said, it seems to be an ongoing problem, and I'm assuming they're all installed improperly.
Well, it's not that they're, just so we're clear, it's not that they're installed improperly. Perhaps I misspoke. What it is there is a more suitable wire that they could have put in the ground rather than the wire that they used.
Was it installed to code?
It was installed to code, but there was a residential design type wire used rather than a more commercial grade wire.
Okay. All right. And you said the funding is coming from an increase in the Patterson lighting district?
No, what we did was we were taking it out of fund balance, our savings account. But what happened was, because the lighting districts, we generally run very, very tightly, and there's not much of a savings account. So we had originally in the budget, in the tentative budget, the first budget that came out, we had taken the savings account to fund balance, and we were going to use it in 2018, you know, to keep everything, you know, to keep the taxes down to zero on that line. What we ended up having to do is slightly increase the taxes next year, so that we have that money available this year to make the repair.
Okay. All right, very good, thank you.
Anyone else wish to comment on the preliminary budget?
You want to talk about the increase on point 32?
My colleague here on the board is asked that I just let everybody know that currently the preliminary budget sits at a 1.32 increase in taxes. So we're at this point well under the tax cap and slightly under the tentative budget that was originally submitted. But we do have a little bit more discussion to have on some of the budget items.
So with the changes that I proposed for those two districts, it would just go to 1.33 instead of 1.32,
Right.
because it's minimal.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are we approving those changes?
Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, can I get a motion on the proposed budget changes as previously outlined? Changing Patterson Lighting Fund to decrease the use of the fund balance by $1,175 and to, what are we doing?
Increased taxes.
Increase the Patterson Refuse Fund by $2,500.
Sounds like you already did, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving right along. Okay,
You doing these changes? Or
would somebody like to audit the bills?
Those are incorporated?
I'll make a motion that the town board approve abstract number 19, dated October 13th, 2017, in the amount of $190,511.87. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Cook?
Recreation requests. We have a note from Matt Chabaro asking us to approve the start of a dance class for boys and girls in grades K through 4 and 5 through 8. Participants will learn the techniques of jazz and hip hop. 2 staff members will lead the classes. The price per participant will be $95. So I will make a motion to approve, for the town board to approve the recreation department holding these dance classes as I just mentioned. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have a memo from Matt Chabaro relative to hiring Stevie Lynn Delanoy as a junior staff member,
Stevie Lynn has exceeded expectations during her experience as a volunteer in our Just for Kicks soccer program. She is successfully able to work with staff, parents, and the children involved in the program. Stevie Lynn is also a volunteer swim coach as well as a volunteer for Special Olympics. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve the hiring of Stevie Lynn Delanoy at a rate of $9 per hour. So moved.
Second.
Conditioned on
Her reaching her 16th birthday.
Yes,
and submission of all paperwork.
correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Next, we have a request to approve the purchasing of 5 signs for the Fall Festival sponsors. Handling this by Olson Printing, in an amount not to exceed $222. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Along with that, asking for approval to purchase 50 T-shirts for the Fall Festival from Select Sportswear, not to exceed amount of $458. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I'm going to tag on here one little one about, we received a memo from Brian Benedict of the Duffel Bag, who puts on the Militaria show, the collector's show. I'll just read this to our supervisor, Mr. Williams. Saturday the 21st marked our annual fall Militaria show held at the town's recreation center. You can be very proud of the staff at the center. They perform their duties smoothly in a most perfect and excellent way. I look forward to working with them again at this November's dinner dance. Sincerely, Brian Benedict.
Mr.
All right.
Rogan, you're up.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have 2 repairs that are needed for our wastewater treatment facilities. The first one is for the Patterson Hamlet wastewater treatment plant. In essence, it is a transfer switch for the generator. We've spoken about this previously. And we have an estimate through John Giamo to do the work. So we're looking for an approval not to exceed $1,500 for that repair. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the second is for the circulator pump for the heating system at the Patterson wastewater treatment plant. And this quote, the low bid was from ITC North. So we are requesting through a non-bid procurement form to hire ITC North for an amount not to exceed $2,800 for the replacement of the circulator pump. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I'm very happy to report to the board that for the most part the carp gate is in. We still have the grate to put on the inlet to the pipe, which requires a diver, but the rest of the work has been all completed and it's looking good. Shout out to Russ, great job on cleaning up the spillway, looks great over there. And as part of all that, we had the contractor who was out there do some additional repairs to the top of the dam and also the masonry walls along the spillway at no additional cost. So he kind of twisted his arm a little bit, got that work done as well. Next step is to get the carp in. I anticipate we're going to be doing that in the spring. I had filed for the permits. The DEC issues the permits for the carp in a very short period. Last time, when I say a short period, the duration of the permit is for a short period. It usually takes quite some time to get the permit. This time I filed for the permit a few weeks ago, and they issued the permit last week with an expiration date of November. I did have a conversation with the DEC, so they're all on board that I will be reapplying in the spring, and I have to apply beginning of March, and we should get the permit right away, and then we'll get the carp in the lake, and we will be on to a new chapter in Putnam Lake, because this has been a long process for this. Second on my agenda is the town board has been evaluating whether there it might be appropriate to put a cell tower at the recycling center. We've been approached by a couple of firms. I was having some difficulty communicating with the first firm. They were not getting back to me. So a couple of weeks ago, I reached out to the second firm. We had some very good conversations about, what we're looking for and what we would like to do. They have been much more responsive. We do have a lease agreement, which the town board can take a look at within your packet. They have also, because they had the company already in the area, agreed to do a balloon test. So there will be a balloon test floated at 180 feet at the Patterson Recycling Center this Saturday. Anybody who is interested in seeing what the potential impacts of this tower might be, that's your opportunity. That's your first opportunity to take a look. I did mail out notices, and there is a notice in the paper which you all have. What the contractor intends to do is then they will be driving around taking photos of that balloon in the air and then using that to superimpose a tower onto some photos of the landscape so everybody can see what it's going to look like. And then we've been doing that in a couple of locations. So,
And this would also be the tower that this would take the place of the MTA tower?
yes.
Okay. I think it's important people understand that.
Yes, that's the driving force. That's why this is.
We're not just throwing up a tower.
Yeah, we're not doing this just because
redirecting
we
it.
decided we want a tower here. We just didn't want it somewhere else.
Correct. Mr. Burns.
All right, first item on my agenda is a resolution of a tax certiorari. JPF Realty filed a tax certiorari on their assessment for the calendar year, or assessment year 2016 and 2017. They originally assessed at $1,599,000. The certiorari has been settled with a reduction in 2016 of $199,000 and a reduction in 2017 of $149,000, bringing the reductions for those two calendar years to $1.4 million and $1.45 million. The positive thing of this is the applicant has agreed to waive a refund from the town. So it'll pursue a refund from the county and school taxes, but will not seek a refund from the town. So that's a very positive for us. There's a consent judgment, matters pending before Judge Marks in Putnam County, I believe. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the resolution as read, which would include the giving authority to our council to execute or enter into consent judgment on our town's behalf. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then their favorite part of the evening, budget transfers. Budget transfer 39 is a transfer of $3,900 from the Patterson Lighting District for electrical repairs to street lighting contractual. Budget transfer request 40 is the transfer of $67 from workers' compensation benefits to employee benefits disability insurance within the Putnam Lake Park District. So I make a motion to approve budget transfer request 39 and 40. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's all I got.
Peter.
Okay. Street light lamp repairs. This is what supervisor was discussing, so I have two memos from Dennis Mays, Building and Maintenance. One is for the Jill Court repair. Now, he was requesting, he said the original estimate was $1,400, requesting $2,000. Was that already done, that work? So,
It has not been completed.
okay, so do you think we're gonna need $2,000? Complete that to be safe?
I would approve it at $2,000 so that it's safe.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve $2,000 for the Jill Court streetlight repair. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second request, I believe while GMO Electric was out there, I guess there were more repairs that were needed to be made.
Well, this goes back to Chief Spinder's comments.
Mhm.
This was the Jill Court, but it was also a street light down at Collingwood.
So I'd like to make a request to approve $2,639.56 for those repairs. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to add one item to my agenda. It was about the opiate summit that I attended last week. I just want to give a quick report on it. So I attended the opiate summit last week. It was at Arms Acres, hosted by the Drug Crisis in Our Backyard. I was there with our two judges, Anthony Millay and Mike Caruso. We did hear a lot of stuff. We heard, as we all heard, about our opiate problem, and how it's affecting our county, our whole area, and our whole generation. But what was good about this summit was we heard a little bit from some elected officials and some of the things that they're actually doing, and they are actually doing something against this problem, to fight this problem. So they were talking about prevention, treatment, enforcement, legislation, and public awareness. So we had our Putnam County Executive, Mary Ellen Odell, who was talking about, who mentioned how the Putnam County Sheriff's Office was stepping up their enforcement and the different things that, different arrests they've made recently, and how they're working with the local police departments who were also there. The chiefs of Kent and Carmel police were there. Senator Murphy, New York State Senator Murphy, spoke about some legislation that New York State has passed that I didn't even know about. Doctors can't give more than a 7-day supply of painkillers for acute injuries. I know, years ago, not too long ago, I've had a couple surgeries and a couple of injuries, and I go to the pharmacy and I come out with a whole full bottle full of painkillers that I never even needed. They maybe take a day or two, and then they got a bunch left. So they're hoping that will help a little bit. They had a doctor there talking about anybody who's on these painkillers for up to 30 days is going to go through withdrawals if they stop taking them for anything. So also too, they extended anybody who goes into a hospital for drug addiction. There's a minimum 7-day evaluation period, stay, so they can't be thrown out before 14 days to at least get some treatment. And they have also, as probably a lot of you have known, they instituted the e-prescription, so you don't get that paper prescription anymore to take to the pharmacy. They call it in, and that cuts down on people stealing stacks of pads of prescriptions and stuff like that. And then Congressman Sean Maloney also talked about they're trying to do similar bills in Congress that match New York State. So New York State is kind of ahead of the game. And again, there were several chiefs of police there. The New York State Assemblyman Kevin Byrne was also there, and a representative from Rob Astorino's office. So I thought it was a very, very good summit. I've been to a lot of these things, and we sit around and talk about the problem, and no one really has any solutions, or we don't really know what's going on. So that was just a little bit of a report of what our officials are doing for us.
That's great. And just so the public knows, a little reminder, anybody that has any unused medication, we do have a drop-off box downstairs in the lobby where you can dispose of your unused, unwanted medication rather than leave it lying around where it could potentially end up in the wrong hands. Other business.
Announcements. So we have an announcement that this Saturday, October 28th, from 12 to 5 p.m. at the Patterson Rec Center will be the Fall Festival, and they have a variety of attractions for young and old alike. It also has a note here that says that the Patterson and Putt Lake Fire Departments, the Putnam County Sheriff's Department, and Guiding Eyes for the Blind will be there in support of that event. So a great free event for our community, and that is this Saturday, October 20th, 12 to 5 p.m. at the Rec Center, Fall Festival.
We have a date?
That's at the Fall Festival.
Oh, okay.
Saturday.
All right. Keeping with the announcements, we have one calling all baking enthusiasts. This Saturday at the Fall Festival, we will have a bake-off. It's free to enter. Bring your creation to the Rec Center tent by 3 p.m. Showcase your culinary skills for a pie baking contest. Anybody interested? This Saturday at the Rec Center.
They're looking for judges.
Yeah, can we judge it?
Well, Sean can get away with it. I think you and I have to sit this one out. All right, other business. I would like to add an executive session personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have
Okay.
2 things.
Okay.
Keeping with things going on at the rec center, that on Saturday, November 11th, 2017, There will be the swing in Patterson, World War II style big band dance. Its theme is 1942 Christmas on the Home Front, and it's at the rec center. There'll be music, dinner, and dancing featuring the Big Band Sound Orchestra. Tickets are $20 per person if you just want to come and dance, $40 per person if you want to have dinner and dancing. Dinner starts at 6 p.m. And this is a collaborative effort between the town and the Duffel Bag. That's one thing.
I will say that Sue and I have gone to that every year they've had it. It's an absolutely fabulous event.
Great.
He dances?
Yes. There's no cameras, I'll do that.
Next, I'd just like to mention so everybody knows that our November meetings are slightly adjusted. We will be meeting on November 15th and 29th due to the Thanksgiving holiday, so things have just been read. So it's November 15th and November 29th are our November meetings. Thank you.
Anyone else? Open it up to public recognition. Any member of the audience that wishes to be recognized? Boy, it's a quiet night.
It's a beautiful thing.
All right.
No,
Motion to go into executive session?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you all for coming.